Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and boy oh boy do I have a rant for you in regard to the backlash that Sony is getting over the brand new A75. But before that, this rant video is brought to you by Storyblocks, which has been an invaluable asset for us for well over 10 years at this point. Storyblocks gives you unlimited access to royalty-free photos, videos, music, sound effects, vectors, motion backgrounds, and so much more for one subscription cost, which means you never have to pay per clip. On top of that, there's a Storyblocks plugin for Adobe Premiere Pro that allows you to search all of Storyblocks right from Premiere, which is going to save you a lot of time. We pretty much use something from Storyblocks in every single video that we make. In fact, here's a crying baby in honor of all the people crying over Open Gate not being in the Sony A75. Yeah, that sounds about right. To sign up for Storyblocks or to learn more, head on over to storyblocks.com/fro. Now, let me get to the Sony rant, which I felt I needed to chime in on because of the continued bitching and complaining about the brand new Sony A75 from clueless commenters who are, well, clueless, and camera influencers who should know better. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, here's the quick and dirty of it. Sony put out the A75, a solid update from the A7 IV, and that's not just my opinion, it's a proven fact because I actually previewed the camera for 2 weeks on Safari in Kenya, so I know what the camera is capable of in the real world versus the spec sheet. Anyway, since the release of the camera, there's been more talk about what the camera doesn't have than the major updates it does have, and I think the majority of the people are missing the point. Now, it's totally fine to offer constructive feedback and educated comments, but coming out and saying things like, Sony isn't listening to their followers, or this isn't worth the upgrade because it doesn't do this, shows their pure ignorance. Now, I think a lot of the rhetoric being spit by influencers is from bandwagon jumpers who are afraid to be seen as having a differing opinion than someone else online, and that's kind of sad. Now, stand behind your statements, but make sure they're educated and well-informed in the first place. I'm not here to defend Sony. I'm not even a Sony shooter. But I'm here to try to help people have realistic expectations of a product, whether the product is a Sony, Canon, Nikon, Fuji, or anything else that is out there. Now, is the A75 perfect? No, and no camera ever will be. The A75 builds on the legacy of the A7 III, a camera that allowed people to enter the mirrorless world at an affordable price with great stills and very capable video features. The A75 is not an A9 or A1 line, but hell, at this point, its still features are not far off. It also isn't a $2,000 body anymore like the A7 III was when it was released, but that was 7.5 years ago, and we've seen a lot of inflation and tariffs since that point. Now, from a still standpoint, you can't look at any of my images from Kenya and tell me the camera clearly sucks, because I got fantastic results, not despite the features that it didn't have, but because of the new features, and also because I know what the I'm doing. Honestly, you could hand me a tin can and I'm gonna figure out how to make it work, but I digress. Now, what about video? Because video is where it seems most people are up in arms. Well, you tell me, does this montage somehow suck because the camera doesn't have open gate or raw video recording? Yeah, I'm waiting. So the camera doesn't offer the latest buzzword feature of open gate, a feature that most people romanticize as of late, but honestly do not need and never would use. And yes, I'm aware that Canon offers both open gate and raw recording in their latest R6 Mark III, which is the counterpart to the A75. At the end of the day, it looks like people are more upset about their system choices than anything else. But when it comes to system choices, you have to remember it's all about ebbs and flows. One release, one system will have the latest buzz and hot stuff, and the next time around, the other system gets it. There is almost no reason for anyone to jump ship from any system unless it's Nikon. No, I kid. No, for real, I'm really kidding. There's no reason to jump from any system. Now, here's the big secret of photography. It's not the system, it's you. If you don't know what you're doing, the camera doesn't matter. Look, I get it. This stuff is expensive and you want everything, but you need to be realistic. Sony, Canon, and Nikon offer plenty of options that will give you almost everything you want and more, but one, you don't need it, and two, you're not gonna pay for it. So kindly check yourself. At the end of the day, I 100% stand behind my thoughts and results captured with the A75. It's a fantastic, well-rounded, entry-level competitor to Canon's R6 Mark III and Nikon's Z6 III, and fits well into Sony's ecosystem. I'm not making this rant because I don't think people should hold companies accountable when they do something worthy of being held accountable for. Anyone knows me knows that I love to rant. This is what I do, I share my thoughts. But you need to pick the right battles, the right hills to die on. And chastising Sony over some perceived lack of a video feature or two, when pretty much everything else in this update is fantastic for the majority of photographers out there, well, that's simply the wrong hill to choose. Jared, Polin, PhotoPhoto.com. See ya.